Single click on those every element. I understand that the ID here is something like HTTP MSP. Okay, which is having various div tags. What I'll do here is I'll go back to IDE. Let me take a new. Okay, see, I'll just try to open it. Use forward slash. What is this forward slash called?
Base URL.
Yeah, base URL for what? For finding my. The other name for this forward slash is. It's a regular expression. Okay. It's a shortcut key which will represent base URL. Okay. Here, if you observe, I'm not doing any sort of recording. I'm manually writing everything here. So inside my base URL, I'm writing my URL. Okay. After opening, I want to type in a value. So I'm taking a command called type. And then where I should type. I'll go back to my home page. Want to find out the ID of this object called search text box. So click on it. Expand the div tags. It will give me the properties of my object, my text box. There will be two properties available for this object. One is called ID and the other one is called name. Okay, we can use any one property here for identifying the object, typing the value in there. Okay, there you go. Here is the first one says ID is equal to GBQ of Q. See this? Everyone, can you see this? In the input tag, there is a property called ID is equal to GBQ of Q for my text box, search text box. Also, I have one more property in the onto my far right hand side corner. It is like name is equal to Q. Everyone, can you see my mouse pointer?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll go back to my IDE. Here I can use any one of these properties like ID or name. So I can write using the type command in the target. In the target I'll write name is equal to Q. It is allowed. Okay. What is that I have to type? Type a text called Selenium. See, I'm not doing any recording, guys. I wanted to show you how do we do manual intervention with IDE. So I'm writing line by line here. Okay. And after typing in the value, moment we type in a value in my Google page, we'll navigate to the next page immediately. That's Google's functionality. Now I have to find out the ID of this blue colored search button and then click on this button after the search text is typed down. So I'm highlighting that button here. Okay, it says ID is equal to GBQFT. Is it the one which is highlighted in blue color here? Okay. I'll come back to IDE. I will use a click command. Also, if you observe, there is one more property for this object called button G, name property here. See this? Name is equal to button G, btng. I can use this name property also. So as I told you, we can use ID or name, any of these properties which is available. So I'll come back to ID and then type a click command. Name is equal to btng. Done. And what is the assignment here? Today's assignment. After clicking on this search, I want to grab these elements back. So highlight these elements, find out the XPath or ID of these elements. Okay. If you see the XPath for these elements is here you can copy this XPath if you want to, and using the store text command, you just type store text, okay, and give the XPath here. As I told you yesterday, if I want to store something, I need a variable to hold that value. So I'll use X as a variable, and after it is stored, I would like to print the values back. For printing the values back in IDE, we have a command called echo. Okay. Here it is, and the syntax for printing the values inside a variable is give a dollar symbol, two flower braces, inside them I'll give the variable name X here. Okay, I'll just run this back. Firebug, back to IDE. You can't run. Everybody, did you understand this? What did I do there? Everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
No. When it is trying to execute, it says a store text object is not found because after clicking on search, my web page is taking few seconds time. So for that, what I'll do here is I'll just write a small command before store text, right? I would like to assert whether this element is present or not. Yesterday, we stopped at discussing about validation constructs or validation commands. Store commands, validation commands, and synchronization commands. So today we'll look after validation commands. What is it I want to validate is, before I try to store, I would like to analyze whether the object's value which I want to store is available for storing or not. If it is not available, I will not try to store it. I will just stop my execution. As simple as that. If it is available, then I will go back and then try to store the value and display them back in normal as usual way. So for this purpose, I have a command called assert element present. Okay. This is a command which is used to validate whether the object is present or not. I'm using the same XPath here, which I use for my store text. What does assert element present will do is, assert and verify are two kinds of validation commands, which will help us to analyze whether the object's existence is there or not. Not only for existence, I'll show you a few more commands after I'll show you. Okay. So the difference between assert and verify is, if an assert returns a false statement or if it fails during runtime, it will stop the execution, it will not allow you to go further. If a verify fails, it will not stop execution but it will throw an error for you. It will continue execution. That's the difference between assert and verify. Now I'm using assert here, assert command, and I'll clear the log and rerun my script again. There you go. As it has given me some error message and it has stopped there. It is not trying to store any text. See that? There was a synchronization issue, that's why it's throwing up a message. Am I clear so far for everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
It has thrown me an error false message and it's not going further. Now instead of assert, I'll just change this command to verify. And for your information, every assert command will have a consecutive verify command. Like if I have a command called assert element present, for sure I have a command called verify element present. Okay. So that's how it is. I have selected verify here. Clear the log again and reduce my execution speed.
Hello, Mahesh.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you explain what assert
command does?
Yeah, sure. I will write it here so that you can read it down. Fields or returns. To stop execution. Let's verify. No execution. That's the difference between asset and verify. Okay. Understood the difference? Assert commands. Whenever you use an assert commands, if that assert command failed, or maybe the object's existence because of a number of reasons, object is not found or object failure or something, assert will stop your execution then and there itself. It will not allow you to go further. If you observe in IDE, I have just now used the command. This. So here is something called verify element present, and that is also throwing me an error message saying false. But it went on further executing the script. If you observe, these are the results. Okay? Understood, everyone? Now you're asking me how to get the links inside more, right? Here it is. More is equal to use app search tools. Got it?
What that is used to we get the false execution, like false when it fails.
Yeah, when it fails or if there is any false result for the object's existence. Now this command says verify element present, right? Likewise, I have assert element present, which in turn means that the element is present there or not. That's the use of this command. Okay. So while asserting the element's existence, if it is found, I will take my execution furthermore. If it is not found, I will stop my execution. So this is a basic level idea which I'm giving you. Now, what is the major use of assert and verify? In a real-time scenario, assert is used at a place. For example, there is a login screen that I have to be validated. Okay. So in my login screen, if my validation credentials is giving me an error and I'm not able to log in, there is no point in checking your inbox validation. Okay. For example, in my test case, normally in my manual test case, I have a login, user registration, and logout. These are the three steps that I have to validate in my test case. Okay. While using assert, or maybe in a normal functionality, it's not talking about assert or verify here. In a normal functionality, if my login fails, there is no point in checking this user registration. This one, right? It has to be stopped then and there itself. So at this point, assert is a specific, or assert is the only command which is a valid command here. Okay, assert will stop your execution because a functionality should be stopped. It should not go further. You cannot use a verify here. Even if the login fails, I cannot go further and test my user registration. It is highly impossible. So that's why at this point or at this kind of validations, we use login in real-time scenario. Now, when do I use a verify? Verify will be used when there are validations to be done for database checking. My test case steps are connect to database, and then login, user registration, logout. These are my 4 steps. Okay. Verify is I would like to connect to a database and then use the data for login procedure. And I have to connect to a database, I have to write some code for connecting to the database. But it is not mandatory that I have to connect to the database every time. If I want to log into my Gmail page, I can directly use my credentials if I know them. No need of connecting to the database, it's not mandatory. So at that point of time, you can use verify construct or verify commands so that a connectivity to the database will be established. Even if it is false, if the connectivity to the database is not made, I can go for login procedure. And then user registration, then logout if the validations or the credentials are absolutely correct. So this is for assert example, and this is for verify. Okay, so it totally depends upon your discretion. If you know the functionality well, you have to analyze which command to use at what point of time. Whether do I go for assert command, do I go for verify command? Okay, are we clear so far, everyone? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I'm clear, Manish.
Sure. Can I ask you some questions then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just kidding. I'll ask you later on. Okay, so in a real-time scenario, assert is used when there is a proper validation is needed. When the validation fails, I don't want to go further, and in that case, we use assert commands. And even if the validation fails, I can go continue my execution of my test case. In that case, I can go for my verify command. So that's what I did here inside my IDE. We use assert element present validation, and see, I'll give you a live example right away. See, here, I took an XPath for my object, right? What I'm doing here is I'm just making some changes to my XPath. See, I'm removing some values in my XPath, which is not a correct value actually. Okay. Now I'll go back to my page, open my page, and run my IDE script. You see, the XPath which I've taken is wrong, so it is not a correct XPath. Okay. I'm just clicking on play button. If you observe, it will open. See the log here in it. Everyone, please check the log. It is starting to open my page. I'm typing in a value for selenium. Clicked on search button. Now it is trying to find out whether the element is present there or not. See that? It has clearly given invalid XPath, saying that there isn't any object with this XPath. Please cross check that. And it has stopped execution. In case if it is verified, see, I'm changing my assert to verify. I'll clear my log. Click on run again. Yes, click on search. This also gives me an invalid path, but it will go on. Okay, just taking time. That's internet again. Stopping it. Oh, wow. The customer looking at this. Change the index path. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, it's nice. Hang on. It's like NSB. I'll just write this. I think I have not completed the export, that's why it's giving me an error. Let's run it again. Verify should go and it should not stop. I completed my export, The syntax for export matters, so that might be the reason it's stopping me there. Okay, there you go. Got it? So export syntax is it should be completed with this braces here. I have removed the braces entirely. So that's why it's not going ahead saying export is wrong. Okay? And even if it is with assert will stop. It will not go further and grab your elements. So I'll keep on run again. It's opening up. There you go. Click on the search button. Now it will stop there. Got some idea? No. My XPath HTTP is already available. So it is giving me a result. What I'll do is I'll just remove 2 letters from my XPath. I just mentioned HD over there. With my assert element present, you can play. So you have to give an XPath which is not available there. So that's why in HTTP is available there. So that's why it has returned some values for you. There you go. Got it? XPath ID is equal to HD is not available in the entire page. So that's why it has given me a false message. Clear everyone? Please, let's make it clear. Assert and verify are important. Going ahead, when we start writing code in RC, we have to work more on assertions and verify. So let's make assert clear itself. Everyone? Any questions regarding assert and verify? So I'm giving correct XPath back. Save it and clear my log. I'm using assert element itself by giving an exact XPath. Okay, has thrown me an error. Stop it. Got it? Everyone? If it is verified, we continue. I changed my command to verify. There you go. It brought me all the links. This was your assignment yesterday. Is the assignment clear for everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
So will you be able to try? Yes, please.
I'm Geeta.
Yeah, Geeta.
For entire tab, it's okay, but to get the individual ones, like web or images,
I understand. No, see, the concept here for links, the reason I took links here is, if I select independent ones, see, here you don't see any property like name, ID, nothing. Because links are links, normal links. Like links will not have any properties like ID or name. What you can do here is instead of using an XPath, I don't want to use an XPath. If you want to use an XPath, you can directly copy it from here to this one, this part, this place. And copy this XPath and I go back to Selenium IDE. Instead of giving this store text element here, I'll give, okay, I just copied the XPath which I got from my file path tab, and I'll just clear the log and I'll rerun it once again. As it will grab me the exact link which I am willing to. This is one way. I'll show you the other way also. Okay, did you got web here? Only single element. Okay, right? Now this is with XPath, right? Now instead of using this XPath, maybe probably I don't know XPath. I don't know. I don't even have any other property. Just now we saw when we did a firebug on my element called web. See, I did a firebug. It is giving me some IDs here. It says for entire objects, I have an ID called HTTP MSP. But if I want it for single element, what I can do here is, instead of writing XPath, I will say link is equal to, web, directly the name of the link as is. So what is link is equal to here? Link is called as a class. Okay, we can give a class name and the value of that class directly. That is also accepted. It is only possible for links, but sorry, buddy, somebody has a question. Okay, so I'm talking about link objects here. Okay, only for link objects we will not have properties like ID or name or something, because for a text box we had a property called name is equal to q, right? So that we used that object name is equal to q and wrote a text called selenium. But when it comes to links, we will not have ID or name or some property for those links. It will be just a link. It will be redirected to somewhere else once clicking on that link. Okay. So here what I did, I directly took the link name and wrote the text of the link name instead of an XPath. Okay. On here also, for verify element present also, I can directly write link is equal to web. Okay. So go back to your log, hide my firebug, run my script again. Now see, we are not using XPath, we are using links. Okay. I'm just clicking on that. So independently, if you want any other link name apart from web, give that name over here. Instead of web, give books or images, whatever you want to. It will be displayed back. So it has taken up some time. That is the reason it is not showing up, because my page has to wait there. Okay, and let's do one thing. I mean, the next concept is synchronization. Because if you observe, see, I'll rerun it again. The moment I click on search button, I am getting a blank page for a few seconds. See that? Because the search results has to prompt back, and it will take some few seconds of time. But my tool is not waiting. See that? Did you observe that, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to synchronize it actually. I will tell you how to synchronize. That's the reason it's failing. Let me include a small command here. We have something called as wait commands. Okay. Okay, I have something called as wait for element present. Until the element is available, I will wait. Okay. And which element I am looking after? Link is equal to that. Okay. This is a synchronization command which will help me to wait for the element to be present until the element is present. So till what time it will wait? As I showed you, the default waiting time for objects is 30 seconds. Here it is, 30,000 milliseconds, that is 30 seconds. Okay, this is the default wait time. So let's rerun our script again. See, it is waiting there. Now it has waited there. Wait for element present is made my tool to wait for a while. Now the results are prompted. We'll wait for 30 seconds. The problem here is it is still waiting. If you observe, even the page turned up, my command is still waiting because it has to complete 30 seconds for sure. Okay. Now there it is. After the wait is done, my verify element present says the link is equal to web is not found, and it has given me an error. Completely accepted because synchronization commands execution will always wait even after the page is loaded completely and tries to check the value after the page is loaded, and it will fail. Let me. Guys, if you are not understanding, please everybody stop me if you are not understanding. I'll repeat it back. You need to understand the logic here. See, selecting a command is not a big deal. See, I can select a command from this list and give the object name and done deal. IDE will take care of that. But the internal working ethic you have to understand. The reason why I'm saying this is when we are going to write some code inside WebDriver, this is the same replica of a code. Here it is a command like this. There it will be some code written. So if you understand the logic here, you'll be able to write this or replicate this over there when we start up. Okay. Now there are some failures in my wait for element present thing. Right after waiting for so many seconds, my execution failed and it showed me false message and something went wrong. It says web element not found. It says web not found. Okay. The reason why it is showing up is there is something called as a page life cycle. Okay. This is outside the scope of QTP or outside the scope of Selenium or any automation tool. What happens in this page life cycle is first a page loads, after the browser page loads, and then default objects load. Default object means what are all been mandatorily has to be used for my functionality. Those objects will be loaded first. Okay, first will be browser, then page, then default objects, and then it loads static texts, then dynamic values. This is how the page loading will be done in a sequential pattern. And we have to make our tool until this place comes, until this static text or the dynamic values comes. But my tool will not wait. So for that reason, I will be using different commands for making my tool get in sync with my web application. So certain kind of commands like wait for element present and wait for or verify element present, whatever. And tool has a default time of 30 seconds. If the 30 seconds is surpassed, tool will not wait. And that's what happened in this case. My page is loaded completely. I can see the page is loaded completely, but it is still loading behind. There is some objects are still loading, but by then 30 seconds time got completed. That's what it says. See, timed out after 30 milliseconds. 30,000 milliseconds. That means nothing but 30 seconds. That means tool's maximum waiting time is completed, and my page is still not turning up. That's why it says false for me. And it says the link is not found. It will not look into the web page at all. Once the tentative time is completed, it will not look into the page. It will just throw you a message saying it is false. It's okay. As simple as that. Okay? Understood why it has given an error here? Everyone? You can make it come back again, not an issue. See, I'm just removing this wait for element present. Now I would like to store this for my objects. I am changing the class name, if you observe, to capital letters. Please observe what's happening. Okay. And next we run it again. No, I am not using any wait commands, no synchronization commands. Direct command, verify command, and then store. See, after clicking on search also, it is waiting for a while. See that? That sync is not happening. Now, what is it waiting for? How much time is it waiting for? That we have to take care. This is where synchronization comes into existence. IDE is a big failure in synchronization. There are certain limitations in IDE. That is the reason RC and WebDriver came into existence. Okay. Everyone, are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes, here, only one person replies me. What about the others? Raj, Suganya, Shweta, Swapna, Lavanya, Geeta, everybody?
Yes, Mahesh.
Are you understanding? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Yes. No. Let me complete the first and then come to the fourth one, which is important. No. The first limitation of IDE as I wrote is regression tests are not possible. In automation testing, regression has a very high importance. Now, what is regression? See, in a layman's terms, when I have to perform some testing, I have to get a application from my developers, maybe a web application or something, which can be opened in a browser and navigate. Like for example, my Google page again. My developers has given me a Google page. And I'm testing on that page. I got some defects on that page. Almost like among, for example, 10 test cases, 5 got passed and 5 got failed. What I will do is I will send that report back to my developers and say there are like 5 failures. Please go ahead and cross check them and fix those defects. The developers has done that bug fixing work and sent it back to me. Now, once I receive the second modified build, I have to test all the 10 test cases once again on the modified build because I seriously doubt that earlier passed 5 test cases might also fail. There are chances. Ensuring that the earlier passed functionality is also cross-checked on the latest build is called regression suite. Okay? I repeat once again. Ensure, I'm giving you a layman's definition here. No, this is not a technical definition. I wanted you to understand what regression is, so that's why I'm giving a layman's example. Regression suite is whenever I need to perform some validation on my page, I have to cross-check these validations in such a way that earlier passed functionality is not failed because of the new build design. Ensuring this process is called regression. So, in IDE, this is only one-way testing. Means I go only on one-way track. If I start from open command, I will be back till here echo command. I cannot go back to open again. That is highly impossible. That is the reason regression is a failure in IDE. Moreover, for every testing that has been done, we need a proper report which ensures that what went wrong and what went well. So we can do a scaling, percentage of pass criteria and percentage of fail criteria. What is the reason beyond the passing and what is the reason beyond failing? Everything in detail. That is not at all possible in IDE because we can look at a log that's at this place. Log is the only place where I can see the results here. No reporting in IDE. Okay? Understood everyone?
Mahesh?
Yeah, buddy. Yes.
If regression test is not possible in IDE, then why to use IDE?
Yep. Excellent question, dear. Reason why we use IDE is this is a best stepping stone for the innovates in Selenium. Reason is A person who is completely non-technical, who doesn't know how to write a single line of code, IDE is a starting point. It has a very good option of exporting your test cases according to your discretion. See, there is an option called export test case. We have written some lines of code in IDE, like using some commands, right? I want to replicate the same in RC and WebDriver. I don't know how to write the values, or I don't know how to write the code in RC or WebDriver. There is an option here, see, Java JUnit for WebDriver, Java JUnit for remote control. And as we are opting Java, I'm looking after Java here. If you know Python, you can select Python. If you know Ruby, you can select Ruby. If you know C#, you can select C#. Okay. Now, if I select Java JUnit for remote control or JUnit for WebDriver, directly ask me a location where to save the code. See, I'm just saving it on my desktop. I'll name it as IDE Java. Click on save. I'll go back to my desktop. Here is my IDE.java. I'll right click on it. I would like to edit with Notepad. And see the code snippets what it generated. See that, everyone? This is the code which has generated. The code which we have written. See, element by name Q. We wanted to type some values there, and we wanted to type a value called selenium and click on the button, search button. See that? You got it? This is the entire code written by IDE. This is a basic level code. Don't get scared, buddy. There is nothing inside this code. There is nothing, literally nothing. These are just a default validations done here. Okay? I understand this looks very huge because the IDE follows traditional methods, which is not at all supported these days. So that's the reason you see lots and lots of code inside it. But as I told you, for an inmate who doesn't know what to write inside RC or what to write as a code inside WebDriver, IDE is the best deal. You can directly export your test cases in this format and it will run. Got it? Understood, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Reason why we use IDE for?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Nice. Let's come. I was talking about retesting. The retesting concept is mostly we need to parameterize. See, every time I cannot log in as a single user. Only Mahesh is not the set defined user for every page. So Geeta has to log in, Sweta, Suganya, Lavanya, any number of people has to log in, log out into my application and test their functionality. That is highly impossible in IDE. Here, if I want to type in a search text, like apart from Selenium, I want to type in a search text called Java. I have to go back and type Java. What if I want Selenium back again? Now again go back and type Selenium, which is not at all dynamic, completely static. Static testing is not at all suggested, not at all supported these days. Completely dynamic testing is supported with values sent from an external resources like Excel sheet or database or Notepad, whatever. So we read values from those resources and pass them here. So that tool should read those values and replicate them for your testing purpose. Okay, so parameterization techniques are highly impossible. So I cannot perform retesting again and again on a specified functionality. Only set designed functionality or set designed data can be used for testing a single functionality, which is highly not supported in automation testing. I mean, probably manual also in any sort of testing that is not supported. So IDE is a failure in these parts. Are they clear so far? Everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Okay, sure. Can I ask you some questions? Everyone, are you with me?
Yes, Mahesh.
Understanding the limitations of IDE. This is an interview questions, dear. Limitations of IDE, because nobody prefers IDE. Trust me. IDE is used only when there are like time crunches, and if you have to generate a code instantly, we go for IDE. Second thing is, if I want to perform some action on any object which I'm not aware of, I'll go back to IDE, record and playback. That's the only option that is that is mostly used in IDE. Okay. So while recording, it will record the object immediately and then give you the object ID. So you need not have to go back to your file. Here in this place, opening Firebug, identifying the object with the Firebug. This is not necessary. IDE has an inbuilt record and playback capability by reading the object names during runtime or during recording time and grab that values. So you can easily identify the object by using those values for your testing purpose. So most uses with IDE is exporting your test cases into any other format using Java, WebDriver or RC, and record and playback, identifying the object names by using an inbuilt capability called record and playback. These are the mostly biggest two advantages of IDE that we use during real-time scenarios. Okay? Am I clear so far?
Yes, Mahesh.
Everyone?
Yes, Mahesh. Yes.
Okay. So today we discussed about validation commands, right? Assert and verify commands, right? Okay. Let's go with a different website, not the same website again and again. Let's go for Microsoft.com. Now this website is having something called as Ajax controls here. Okay, and it will not be the same with other websites. Like it will not be identified like other websites. Normally, in an objects family in the sense like the controls which we see on a web page, like web buttons, text boxes, radio buttons, images, like this, there are like almost like 13 in the family. You will always see these objects only on a page. There will not be any new object till these days. Recently, they have introduced one more object called as mega menus. Okay. It's called as mega menu. Okay. This is what a mega menu is. I place my mouse pointer here. Every link will be displayed inside this menu only. See that? There is a huge list of links on the page. Okay? Hidden inside one click. Okay, if I want downloads, I click on download, it will show me the list here. Looking at everyone? Earlier on my Microsoft homepage, these links is displayed on outside the page itself, not inside any menus kind of a thing. They wanted it to be very dynamic and so precise, so that according to their requirements, they click on that products or they go to download, they go to support, and that specified link will be displayed. These are called as mega menu. Okay, this is a new addition into the object family. So what I want you all to do is, we are running after links, right? Obviously, so I open a Firebug here. The first thing that I want to do here is, I want to click on one of these links, maybe products. Okay. Once I click on products, I would like to identify the links inside products. For example, under a head called Windows, I have all Windows products, Windows 8.1. Right? Click on your element identifier, take your mouse pointer to your tab. If you observe, you can select independently or as a list here. See that? The difference? Right. Right? I want you to grab. I want everyone to work on this on a different tasks. Somebody choose Windows as an option. Somebody get me the links for devices. See this one? See this? Devices. Somebody get me server and cloud. Somebody get me business and enterprise. So I want everyone to work on different objects here. Like this. Okay? Somebody get the links on developers and IT pros. Someone else go with services. Someone get this office. There are like different sets of values. You want everyone to work on this to grab these values for me. Only thing that you have to do is open Microsoft page, click on this products link. Once the menu is open, grab the links inside this. Like this. And there is also one more option. If you see, I can select all at a time. See, here it is. Can you see that? Firebug is identifying all at a time. This one, can you see? Everything is identified now as a single object. Can you see the bordered blue color line on all of the links? See that, everyone?
Yes.
Seeing the difference? At one shot, you can grab all the links. Or if you want them independently, that is also possible. Devices, server and cloud, developer and IT pros, business enterprise. When I click on this, it will give me the description of my objects. Go grab them. And for your understanding, there is an ID here. You decide whether to use this ID or whether to use this XPath. There is an XPath here also, right? It's up to you. Use ID or use XPath. Anything goes with me. But I want you to bring these links back into IDE's echo command.
Okay.
Am I clear so far?
Yes, Mahesh.
Everyone? Okay. Try with assert and verify also. I want complete examples on assert and verify. Hopefully, end of the day, I want them to be in my inbox. Send it to my inbox, and you can send it to our organizers or full organizers, and they will drop a mail back to me. Independent names, I want to see independent names as their assignments. I want everyone, as I said, Geeta, Sweta, Raj, Raj, Lavanya, Suganya, Swapna, everyone. Okay?
Okay.
You take it on and you grab the links and send me that code. Are we all clear so far? Please be with me in completing these assignments, because I'm pushing you in a place where I want you to be convenient once we start RC, because we are going to start RC probably tomorrow or day after, and inside RC we'll be writing. It doesn't mean that ID is completed here. No. See, my intention in this training is I'll be giving you 80% of each of the components. The remaining 20%, we will be combining them in a framework. Then I will term these components as completely 100% complete. And why is that so is, every component can be embedded inside a framework, whether it may be IDE, RC, grid, or WebDriver. Okay? So we'll be exploring a component to maximum extent. The remaining leftover component we'll be combining inside a framework, so that I will call the component at any point of time according to my own discretion. I will tell you why I am doing this. Don't worry. And in tomorrow's session, we'll be working on synchronization commands. After that, we'll be configuring Eclipse, and we'll be configuring Selenium server in Eclipse. Start running our scripts using RC. Okay? Any questions so far?
Mahesh, this is Geeta.
Yes, buddy.
Yesterday I executed one program, but I got trouble in running it.
Okay. Raj?
Yeah.
I've opened.
Yeah. Nice.
Raj, are you there?
Yeah, Mahesh.
Can you please make Geeta as presenter for a while?
Oh, okay. Is it me, the organizer?
No, is it me that? Okay, hang on. Oh yeah, I do have that option there.
Yeah.
Hang on. Geeta, I'm making you as presenter.
So I've got an error message. I'll tell that. Can you give me some solution?
No, right away we'll do that, buddy, because everybody is looking on the screen, right? So everybody will know how to handle those errors. If you are okay, I will make you as presenter, and we'll solve that error.
I guess I've deleted it. I didn't save
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay, tell me the
Facebook,
error message.
Facebook login ID I've opened, but I'm
Okay.
facing problem at clicking the login.
Okay.
Login button.
I don't know what's there in this Facebook here. Okay. No. Let me open the website. Okay. Now, this is where you are stuck up, right? You're typing your email and password and then
Yeah.
login button, right?
Login.
What is the ID of this login button? On your element identifier, make it all the way back to your login button. Okay, it has a straight ID saying ID is equal to login button. Simple.
So for inserting, okay. Actually, yesterday I've confused opening the ID and name.
Oh, okay. No, you can use ID, which is directly available as a label here. Okay. ID is equal to login button. This is okay. See, yesterday as I told you, you need to be careful in identifying the object. See, this object, as I can see, has both child and parent. Everyone, are you able to see the login button on my screen for Facebook? Okay, see, I am taking my control there. Now see, this is my parent object. If I move my mouse pointer inside, it is selecting the child object. See the difference?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Mm.
Yesterday I told you while selecting the text box on Google page, okay, always go with the parent object, not with the child object. Parent object will not yield anything. And also please observe the XPath. See the moment the moment when I move my mouse pointer with the child and the parent object, observe the XPath here, dear. This XPath is changing. This one I'm talking about. This is changing. See that? Original parent object name is login button. When I go with the child element, it is showing me something else. U_0_n. Observe that, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to be careful in identifying the objects. Go only with the logical names. Don't go with the irrelevant names, which is not suggested. That is the reason always go with the parent object. So I'm clicking on the parent object, and this is the absolute object name. Okay?
Yeah. I've taken the U underscore that.
I know, yeah,
child.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So U_0 is not the one. Or else what you can do here is, if you are having a problem in identifying the properties like ID or name, directly copy the XPath here. Okay, you can use this XPath and paste them there. Don't use the dot. In my XPath, there is a dot in front, right? This one. Please exclude this dot. This is just a continuation element. So exclude this dot. Do not use the dot. Use the entire XPath excepting the dot. Okay, that will work for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
No worries. Any more questions? Hope everybody understood the assignment.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, buddy. Thank you.
Like, what is the advantage using Selenium and other automated tools?
Oh yeah. It's not regarding Selenium here. When you talk about automation, automation in turns means performing a set of operations or set of actions on your web page and testing its functionality to the extreme core level. That's the idea of automation. Okay? Which obviously saves time, which obviously saves lots and lots of manual intervention. No. Advantages to talk more about is, every tool has its own functional testing approach. Okay? And Selenium has its own approach because it supports a number of programming languages. And if you are aware of a number of programming languages, you can rule in Selenium. And if you are aware of one programming language also, that's fine. If you are not aware of more programming languages or zero programming languages, that is also fine with Selenium. Now, when coming to QTP, QTP also has a record and playback option. You need not have to be a VB-script programmer there. Once you know how to record and playback and handle the scripts inside, you can rule in QTP also. Coming to RFT, RFT also has some Java implications. Likewise, every tool has its own approach in testing the functionality. So what is the advantages here? Why should I go for a specific tool? Why shouldn't I go for the other tool? Nothing as such, buddy. It's up to your client's discretion. Once you go into any company, it will be the decision of your client. If you want a licensed version to be used, we will prefer QTP. If you want a freeware testing tool, we will prefer Selenium. So you should be an expert in framework designing. That's what I was concentrating since from the inception. If you are a complete framework designer, if you know the in and outs of a framework, you can handle any testing tool. So you will be not running behind the advantages of using a testing tool. You will be running behind the advantages of testing the functionality of an application using any testing, then you will be unique among the people. Because people almost learn on one testing tool, get accustomed with one framework, done deal. When if there is any new tool in the market, they have to come back again, learn that new tool, improve their technical aspects, and then go back to the market and then start working. That is not suggested every while and then. So for how long you will learn? Because I started my career at 2003 and 2004, and at that time it was almost like RFT in the market, Ruby and RFT with QTP in the market. Now it is Selenium. Tomorrow it will be something else. Even today, I'm still working without any hassles. The reason behind that is we got trained on something called as a framework design pattern, being a complete framework implementation, maintaining, enhancements, deployment, the code structures in that. So that's what I tell you. I will train you on a framework design pattern. So never ever look after the advantages and disadvantages of a specific functional testing tool, because these tools will migrate, these tools will change on the tool. So always concentrate on something called as a framework, which I'm going to train you after a while. Once you are through with the framework, you'll always be able to say that, yes, I'm ready with my framework, I can handle any testing tool. That is the biggest advantage here. So I'm least bothered whether the tool is there or not. So if you want preferences, which one to opt for, QTP or Selenium, it's completely your comfort zone. That's what I say. If you are convenient writing code snippets in Selenium using Java, go with Selenium. If you are convenient writing VBScript code in QTP, go with QTP. But baseline is a framework. Your QTP or your functional testing will be deployed on something called as a framework. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, but any more questions?
Mahesh, one thing, not a
Yes,
question.
sir. Yeah.
Forgot to mention, like Lavanya joined for the first time today, and yesterday actually she joined at the end.
Okay.
She attended complete class today, and she'll continue. Just want to mention.
Oh, got it, I understand. I don't see her on the page. I see her name, but she's... Lavanya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Actually, my microphone is not working, I guess, so I'm connecting to my phone.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's fine. I don't see any mic or symbols coming up here. That's fine. So, hope you're understanding what I'm conveying here, Lavanya. And if not, we'll have a recap session soon. Sorry?
Yeah. No, actually, I'm able to understand clearly. I think I need some practice on the tool. So
Yeah, sure. I mean, I am actually planning for a recap session probably this weekend. So, what all we did in IDE. Because, for everyone, IDE is a place where you can just use a command here, nothing much. Why should people hire you if you are an IDE designer? There is a command available for me. Companies will use IDE, select a command, and let their functional testing be done. What is the use of you so that they hire you and pay you there? It's not that way around. It's the other way around. It is. We will use these tools for some core functional testing. That's what I'm going to teach you in the recap session. We'll explore some more commands, the synchronization commands. I'll give you the list of commands tomorrow. And once this is done, I will tell you where we are standing in terms of using IDE in a real-time scenario. Where do we use IDE? Okay? So that we can go for RC immediately and then start working with RC and then go for WebDriver and then for Grid. That's the idea. Hope everybody is clear. Any questions?
Mahesh?
Yes, buddy.
Yeah, it would be better if you assign assignment individually to us now itself.
I thought so. I thought so. Hang on. Let me do that. I was actually thinking on it, but I didn't wanted you to be casted away or separated so that you can mingle in between and start working on. Anyhow, starting with Geeta. Geeta, go grab your Windows bunch here. Okay. Geeta, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So EOS will be this part, the head under products. You grab the links
Yeah.
under Windows heading. Okay.
Windows, right.
Yeah. Okay. Lavanya, EOS will be devices. Give a try, Lavanya.
Okay.
No hassles. Even if you're not able to, that's absolutely fine. I'll give you the solution for you. Okay. EOS will be devices, and Raj Raj is an exception. Suganya, EOS is server and cloud. Okay. And what else left off here? Office and services, right? Thank you. Swapna?
Yes.
Swapna, are you there? Yeah. Go grab your list under office heading.
Okay.
Sweta, left office services.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So these are like individual headings for you all.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
up to you. Yeah. See, as you wanted, I'm telling this. You can grab them in one single shot also, or if you grab them outside products, go grab links inside downloads. That is also fine with me. Now my intention is, I want you to be conveniently be able to grab objects through ID. That's what my intention is. So go work out. Any link is fine, but accordingly, yeah, according to your headings, go grab those links and then send the mail back with it as assignments.
Okay.
If you do it more, I'm absolutely fine with that. I'll be very happy. Okay.
Yeah. Sure, Mahesh.
Then let's catch up on tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to discuss about synchronization commands more. And I'll give you most widely used commands in all of the three. That is storing commands, validation commands, and synchronization commands. I'll give you the entire list. And I'll also be sharing you one more document which has a list of commands which are used mostly, and along with their description and everything. Okay.
Okay.
Mahesh,
Yes, buddy.
today I was working on this Firebug. On my screen, I don't see XPath. Like,
Oh,
scripted
like this
one.
one. Hang on. Like this one, you're saying? You're saying this one expert, this part.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, correct.
Do you see any file path tab like this?
Yeah.
Do you see file
Yeah.
path tab there? Okay.
No, I
Then
don't
it's-
see this.
Ah,
No,
okay.
I
Then
don't
you
see
haven't.
it.
Yeah. Then you have it installed FilePath. What you need to do is go to Google page. Just say download FilePath. Okay. Just type. You have to see. Looking at my screen.
Okay, so if I'll download Firepath, then I can see that XPath.
That's yep. Only thing is FilePath is not installed in your machine. Okay. This one, the tab which I am selecting here. You might be looking at your HTML tab now after you open Firebug like this.
Yeah.
Right. You need to get this FilePath. I'm sorry. It is having an XPath option. So here it is. See, I just download FilePath, and this is the link which says add-ons for Firefox. So click on that. And
Yeah.
go ahead, add it to Firefox. Once you're done, you have to restart your Firefox. You'll be able to see this FirePath tab. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Any more questions? Anyone? Are we all good to go now? Yes, buddy. Lavanya, your voice is very low. I'm not able to hear you.
Okay, can you hear now?
Yes, I'm able to hear you now.
My question is is it possible to get this recorded version for reference? Hello?
Actually, we have planned for a recorded session yesterday. Hello. Yeah, Lavanya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Actually, we have planned for a recorded session earlier. As this meeting idea has been already been scheduled, we are having a hiccup in giving the recorded session. Probably we might change the link within a while, and so that we can also start recording automatically. Yeah, yesterday itself I got this request, so I'm working on that. Give me a day more time. Probably actually this link which we are logging on a daily routine is been scheduled for a month. So we have to regenerate the link along with the recorded option enabled. So
Okay.
we'll give you a new link,
Okay.
probably within a short time we'll be giving you or sharing a new link, which will have a record option
Okay.
also, so that you can save. We can
Okay.
save the file at a location and send it back to you. You can refer it.
Okay.
Mahesh,
Thank you, Mahesh.
Yes, Raj.
the first 2 sessions I have the recordings. Yeah,
Awesome,
that I
man.
can share.
Awesome. Hey, buddy. Lavanya, there is your answer. Raj is my
Okay,
savior.
thank you so much. Yeah.
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 We can
Thank
grab
you.
that from him here. Yep. Thanks,
Sure,
Raj.
I'll share the YouTube link. I'll upload them on YouTube.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions, buddy? Anyone?
Mahesh,
Yes, buddy.
I had sent you an email to your ID Apologic that Raj has sent the link of demo class which you had taken last week.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to open that link, but it's saying private video, so it's not opening today.
Oh, okay. Who is this? Swapna?
Yeah.
Okay, I made it private actually. I will make it public and I'll reshare the link.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Raj.
Okay. Nice to see everyone on the bridge now. So everybody are in sync. We'll be able to complete the assignments in time, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be seeing your mails back in my inbox, AppLogic's inbox, with your assignment completed. As I told you yesterday, if you have any hassle, please don't wait for tomorrow's session. Drop in your mails immediately. I'll be constantly checking those AppLogic inboxes. If you have any question, mention your subject line as a question or something which you have. I'll reply back soon so that you'll have answers in your inbox back, and we can start working immediately. We can save some time here, because till tomorrow's session I'll be having a new concept again. So you will be left out. You will not be left out, or you will not be cast away once we go in the same place. Okay. Okay then, everyone. Let's catch up on tomorrow, and we'll discuss on synchronization commands.
Okay.
Yes, nice.
Okay.
Okay then, buddy. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mahesh.
Bye. Yeah, bye.